Hello. Yeah, so in continuation to what we had discussed on Levi Strauss's theoretical thinking and thoughts, let's talk today about how his model of anthropology had these very different conceptualizations of the concept of structure. So, Levi Strauss was responding to the questions raised by anthropologists like functionalist anthropologists, structural functionalists, particularly, and British anthropologists. He was observing the trend and questions of American cultural anthropologists as well. So, while his distinction between anthropology, sociology, and history is important, uh, for him, anthropology was concerned with the unconscious aspects of the social life and the natural phenomena, whereas as historian, according to him, were more interested in understanding the concrete and specific activities. So, in some ways, anthropology and sociology and history are related, but there is a difference because, according to him, anthropologist is more importantly interested in unwritten data, right? So for two reasons. Firstly, because the societies that they were studying were not the literate societies in those times, but also because his thinking is uh, different from other people who are around, and the anthropological practices are rarely recorded in terms of paper and other ways. So that's a very important thing to remember, that how Strauss was making a distinction between anthropology and history. So that's where his concept of structure also comes in mind, right? So to tell you briefly from his text, which is Structural Anthropology, there is a chapter called The Structure, which is a chapter number 15. There is a discussion where he talks about what is the notion of structure that we should be concerned with. And he says that the idea of structure in social sciences is to concern about the models through which different elements are related. So, as I said in the previous audio, that for him, structure doesn't focus on the essence of the elements or the actors. Rather, structure is about the relations between different elements, right? So he says that uh, if we focus on this aspect, then we can develop a chart. For example, he says, how do we study the structuralist approach? And he takes the case of suicide. So this is on page number 284. He says, first would be to identify the individual situations through which different suicides take place. So we need to focus on models of suicide, take into account of the personality of the victim, his or her life history, the characteristics of the primary and secondary groups within which this person was developed and grown up, right? So apart from building the statistical nature of data, there has to be a focus on three important things, right? So he says there are three important structural levels of suicide which we should concern with. First is different types of suicides, and second is different societies, and third is different types of social phenomena around these societies. And his because his concern was to formulate a scientific model for anthropological research, he had been concerned with discovering new levels, new models, and he says that the process of identifying the factors in the sense of structural study should be very rigorous and rigorously followed by the practitioners. So we need to identify and isolate certain factors. We need to establish each autonomous relations of the one factor with another factor. And so he talks about following uh, Kroeber and Adam Cooper, who was like in the same contemporary time periods. So if you read the writings of Edmund Leach says that uh, at times Levi Strauss was developing the structuralist model in the directions of Durkheim and Marcel Mauss, but he was very much interested in developing a kind of approach which focuses on binaries, right? So this binary, some people say that this binary was borrowed from Marxism. So some people would argue that this binary, this notion that society is organized around binaries, right? Inside, outside, day, night, right, wrong, right? So all kinds of binaries. And he says that the task of the structuralist is to identify all possible uh, permutations. So when he applies this model on kinship in the text elementary structures of kinship, he does the same. He tries to identify all possible kind of categories and typologies related to the parents, in the sense father mother relation, father children relation, and father and kinship relation, right? So he is trying to come up with a model through which he wants to decode the meaning of like previous ancestors and their message, which remains in the unconscious of the society, and that's the task of the structuralist to understand it. So he says that if we apply this kind of structuralist method where we need to move beyond the phenomenological aspects, so he says that we should not get stuck with the experience part as many other approaches have been, because that's, so he criticizes many uh, phenomenologists that they missed the chance of developing a scientific knowledge of man but you cannot do that by immersing totally in the experience of a particular individual in a particular society at a particular time, but we are concerned with general properties of human being and which are expressed in every society, and that's the task for anthropology to reveal those things. So he was looking for certain characteristics which are important to all the mankind rather than only few, and he says we need to bring up a new model to it. So there is a philosophical context to Strauss' discussion, of the whole concept of structure, and he applied it to study kinship, he applied it to study mythologies and marriage typologies and rituals. So let's talk briefly about his discussions on elementary structures of kinship. So what does he do there? And I'm telling this context so that you understand what is there in the text assigned for your course, which is focusing on a brief uh, discussion on a Pawnee myth, where different binaries and different contradictions are identified by structuralist method. So you read this in the context of the text. So what is Levi Strauss doing in the elementary structures of kinship? He is providing a theory of reciprocity, which is similar to Marcel Mauss, but he is trying to define it at a different level. And he says that instead of understanding reciprocity to make sense of culture, we need to relate to the nature of mind. And then only we can understand the whole idea of reciprocity. So for him, the source of reciprocity is an innate given psychological mechanisms, or maybe a product of biological change in the mind through which certain cultural practices emerge. So he was applying this theory to all the institutions in the society. Now that's where his unique approach lies. Marcel Mauss was understanding gift at a different level, but he said, what about reciprocity in theory of exchange? What if we say that the whole society and social structure is based on this notion of reciprocity, right? So reciprocity in the kinship, reciprocity in terms of ideas, thereby the study of myth, and so on. So what is his concept of marriage and exchange? He says that different groups are related to each other by some form of classification. Now, this classification might have objective and subjective form. Objective form would mean that the organization is represented by different classes, and there are different regulations to keep these classes together, that notion of solidarity. The subjective form would be further classification of these groups into kinship groups, and then kinship groups formed from different rules. For example, kinship group formed by alliance, kinship group formed by regulation of marriage, and so on. Now, uh, he says that kinship relations and marriage are one kind of systems through which relations between social groups are organized, and we get a stable social order. And he tries to bring certain categories down from kinship to marriage, and this category is called exchange. Yeah. So he addresses Durkheim's theoretical question in the text on elementary structures of kinship. He says maybe we can also imagine a critique of Durkheim's model. Why? Because this text brings a reinterpretation of Marcel Mauss' notions of reciprocity by bringing in psychoanalysis and Gestalt psychology. Right? So, that how do certain structures themselves derive from formalizations of social relations? So there are different interpretations. So we need to be careful of that. That if you read a particular interpretation of Levi Strauss, you will find somebody is drawing more upon linguistics model. So they will say that model of Levi Strauss is actually based on structural linguistics, from Roman Jakobsons to Ferdinand de Saussure to Nikolai Trubetskoy. On the other hand, if you talk about this collective model, then you have Durkheim, Marcel Mauss, and others. So it's interpretation as well. Now, another important aspect which is relevant for us in the case of myth is how do we understand this unconscious structure of society? For Levi Strauss and others, in order to capture this unconscious is focus on symbolism, right? So what kind of symbols are there in society, and what are their functions of the symbols? Do they perform any regulatory control, or they direct the human relations, or they do something else in terms of organizing human or expression of general human thinking and thought process? So that is why the symbolic expression of societies, how would we talk about, let's say, the institution and exchange through symbols? So he applies this genealogical process of identifying all possible typologies of exchange, and then he does it by focusing on symbols as such. So his study of mythical structure is also study on symbols, and through his focus on symbols, he then moves on to talk about certain basic human categories, and that is where his distinction, that the chart that I had shared, lies. That whether we are able to formulate a new science of society which is completely empirical, or which is concerned with the model building or mechanical models or different statistical models. So his typology emerges in this context, right? So he's, according to him, ethnography and history differ from social anthropology and sociology. How come? Because the later two deals with the models constructed from the data provided by ethnography. So he says that even though they have relations, and he constructs these relations between disciplines by bringing in certain oppositional, what you call oppositional criterias, whether they are positively related to empirical sciences, whether they are negatively related to empirical sciences, right? So he provides some kind of arbitrary assignings of certain categories to understand how social science develop. So try to read this text, and uh, if you have some questions on Levi Strauss concept, we can come back to it. But we need to be careful because unless we understand Levi-Strauss's concept of structure and its model of structuralism, we would be very difficult kind of in a state to understand what Bourdieu is offering, right? So after discussing Levi-Strauss's concept of structure and method and the way he has laid out this dialectics of myths, we would turn to Pierre Bourdieu's concept of practice, and that again is a uh, attempt to bring together the opposition between structuralist approach to human relation and the subjectivist, or what we will call agency based approach to structure and human life. So go through this text and let me know if you have some questions.